Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Valen, and this is Vintage Story, Unearthed, for 120. So looking at my quartz chunks and clear quartz bits, I don't really have much to go on. I think I'm going to have to do a little bit of mining today, as well as a bit of some smoking of those materials that I end up getting. My entire plan here is to basically try to make a greenhouse. No guarantees that it's going to work, or that I'll be able to finish it this episode. We'll see. But for now, I'm just going to make myself a meal before I head out. Of course, it's nighttime. I'm heading out, and I have to go over near the area where the bear is, or was, or sometimes spawns. So I'm very paranoid right now. I guess we'll see if I get into any trouble. Oh gosh, okay. That's just a little poke from a friend. These guys surprise me way too often. Their attack and runaway tactics are really annoying at times. Let's see here. Got it. Oh my gosh. Shivers. They're like the worst. I'm just going to double tap. Look, it's still moving. Do not like. Ugh. Oh, alright. Well, maybe I like this one. It's got a temporal gear on it, so I'll take that. So down here I did some wandering earlier, and I came across some of this silver ore in quartz. Now that I have iron, it's not difficult to actually mine through this. I think that's exactly what I'm going to do, because I'm going to need a lot of quartz if I'm going to be making myself some glass for a greenhouse. So let's just get to work on this, and hopefully I'll be getting a bit of some of the silver while I'm at it. Looks like there's a passage in there, and it's got some Bowtorn as well, so this is going to have to be something that I'm going to need to deal with before I can actually proceed any further. And for that I'm also going to need a light. So let me grab my lantern. We'll just chase in here after this guy. See about taking him out before he escapes too much. Or calls in reinforcements. Get out of here. Oh, you're a deep shiver. And the Bowtorn got away and is shooting at me. Doggone it. Get back here. Ow! Get back here. There's two of you. Okay, well. I don't think you guys can run away too far. There we go. So much easier with the iron weapons now, doing so much more damage. Or at least it feels like it. While I'm at it and I'm looking around in here, I might as well just grab any, like you can see here, ignoring the crack marks, there's little bits in here that have nodules, and those are silver in this. So you might get a bountiful chunk of native silver in quartz. Lovely. Okay, so I might cherry pick some of these things while I'm in here, in this section, but ultimately head back to the other area that I was in before. Would you look at that? Ooh, cool. Found a bunch of Milky Quartz. This is a really rare find. I don't think I've ever found this in any playthrough before. Shoot, if I break this, does that get broken as well? I don't know. Let's try it. It's the only way I can think to get in there. Seems to work. Alright. Nice. Look at all this neat stuff. Oh my gosh. This is a really cool find. So I've got all these little bits of quartz crystals. I wonder if you can like sell these or just use them for decoration or something. I'm going to try mining one. And it looks like I did get it. Milky Quartz Cluster, variant 1. Nice! Okay, I'm just going to take all these now. And then we've got this like little crystal chamber. It's pretty neat. I don't think I can get out though. Let's find out what this just says. Quartz in chalk. So I think that this just disappears. I don't think that I get the these other variants as if I mine this out. Yeah, it just turns into regular quartz. So that's really cool though. I'm pretty happy about that. I always wanted to find one of those. I've seen them before flying around in creative mode. I had not anticipated that I would actually run into one. So that's pretty neat. Like in the past, not recently. Okay, so as much as I could continue just mining and mining and mining, I think I've got more than enough of what I really need here. So I'm going to take what I've got. There are wolves and bears outside. So, yeah, I'll have to come back in here. Yeah, and there's also other friendlies in the nearby area that I might have to deal with. Let's get him while he's convulsing. Got him. That's just a surface shiver, and it took me 4 hits. Oh my gosh. I need to get strunk. Alright, so let's see if I can figure out a way of escaping this little area on another area. So I've got multiple exits, and maybe this way I don't get trapped down here too badly, at least. You can see just how big this quartz vein is. It's over here, and it continues through the rock face all around here. Oh my gosh, and of course I've got more Bowtorns. But it just continues on all the way over there. So it's up here and everything. They're just huge how big they are. So if you find some that has some silver in it, or maybe it doesn't, or even gold, you might be able to find some silver or gold at some point in some area of it. Oh gosh, these darn things. Alright, now I'm going to try and head back to base and hopefully not die in the process to some baddie. Oh, and because it's really late in the season, anytime I find any berries, there's a wolf somewhere nearby, I'm going to grab those while I can so that I can eat them and not use up those that are in my current stores. Next, I'm going to be grabbing a bunch of fire clay, as well as, let's see, a bunch of the quartz chunks that I just recently mined up. I think that'll do. We'll see. I'm not entirely certain that I've got the proper quantities, but either way, I'm going to need, I did some calculations for the space that I'm going to be building, and I'm going to need at least 4 of these going on here, which will leave me with about this many fire clay bricks when I'm done. So let me just put these down. I'm going to grab a little bit of black coal as well, because I'll need that for a fuel. And then I'm going to sneak, control, and right click, and just keep adding this until I've got my maximum amount that I can store of the quartz. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get more than the 48 that I had, because why not have a bit extra? Like I said, I think I'm only going to need half the amount that I'm putting in here for the build that I have in mind, but I'm going to keep a bunch of extra glass for whatever else I may end up needing it for. Probably for making some windows in here as well. That would be nice. There we go. All of them are now fueled. Oh, I don't have a torch. And then just to light these up, and you'll know that they're working when you got some smoke coming out the top. There we go. So I've got those burning up, and that should take probably most of a day, if not a little bit longer. And I can show you while that's going on some things that I did while I was out. I just ran out and gathered a bunch of cattails. I used up some of my old tool stuff, and I also a while ago had dug this out. I just didn't populate it until recently. Not this, but this is the footprint for the greenhouse, and basically I've got it spaced out so I can have water hydrating everything 75%. Now you can put water underneath the walls of the greenhouse. There is a chance in some cases it could have some detection problems if you have it under all of the walls, all over the entire thing, but you should be alright for the most part. At the very least, you're going to want to have it just in... I've got it inside just so that it spaces it out. I wanted the most amount of space for planting, and this will give me the most amount with a little bit. And you can have this be a 14 by 14 by 14 area, if I'm not mistaken, which is pretty freaking huge. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, actually the 14 high does sound right, because you can have a fruit tree in there. And if you look up greenhouse in here, actually this will tell me 14 by 14 by 14. Yep. So you could have one fruit tree in the middle there, probably, I think, and actually grow that in your greenhouse. Maybe two. I've not really tried much, but I do plan on having this outlined primarily with glass blocks. Now you can use chiseled blocks as well, but it has to have at least half of the block in place, and one of the sides has to be completely intact. So if you have let's say the face of this block is the side that you want to be complete, don't chisel anything on it. You can chisel the stuff on any of the other sides, just not this one. And that side has to either be facing in or out, and then it has to be uniform across it. So if like one of them is facing inwards and the other one's facing out, you might have some kind of interaction issue. There is also a command that you can use that will tell you if the greenhouse is, or at least it counts as a room, and then that should get you an idea. But the thing I wanted to show you wasn't that at all. It was the bees. And yes, I know, we just harvested the bees, and you can see that they're already populated, but look, nearby flowers, 323, 309, 322, what is going on? There's so many. Let me show you what I did. I dug this out a while back, but I didn't actually fill it, and I put an entire floor of soil, so I started filling around the edge and putting flowers down slowly over time. Let's see if I can get up a little higher, and you can see the entire area basically underneath here is also flowers. It's a little cheesy, but this is the only way I could do it so that it wasn't that visible, because I felt it was a little bit, I don't know, just cheesy, and I didn't really want it to look janky, because, you know, vintage story often wants things to look nice. So I collected a lot of flowers and put them all in, and then filled in that floor so that I could have it as close as possible, because I wanted them, I couldn't remember if it was 5 or 7 blocks. And so I made it so that those flowers are all within 5 blocks of the skeps. Even this layer up here, which I'm not entirely certain if this is how I'm going to continue it with the floating ones, but the more ground space I take up with putting these down, the more likely they are to like just eliminate flowers in the nearby area. Though I do have a lot of flowers. It's not going to make these like populate instantly or something like that, but it definitely gives it a boost, and you're going to get the best results that you could possibly get with more stuff going on there. So with this being the site of the new greenhouse, just because it's greenhouse glass that I've got going over here doesn't mean that I don't have other stuff to work on. I have the framework to build, and certain parts of it are not going to be made of glass. I've got stuff going to be made out of wood, stuff made out of stone, and as long as your ceiling is at least 50% glass, I believe, or is it the sides? I can't remember. You should be alright with it. It'll tell you in here when you look it up. Yeah, there you go. The roof of the greenhouse must be at least 50% glass. Full block or slab can also be chiseled glass as long as one side is solid. There you go. So I plan on using a lot of slabs in this. I don't plan on using much, if any, chisel work on this. And I'll show you why once I set it up. Let's see. I'm primarily going to be using granite to make a lot of the slabs. A bit of clay so that I can make them into cobblestone, like granite cobblestone slabs. Yeah, there we go, right there. And I think, how many do I need? Let me look at my notes here. 18 slabs should do it, because I planned this out in a creative world so that I could have the exact amounts for you guys, that so that you could probably see a little bit easier. Another thing, I'm going to want a door. I recommend not using a sleek door, because I think those actually count as like having an opening and might not work so well. So a solid door, it's just going to be a bunch of planks. I'm going to need 4 of these to start, probably a 5th one at the end, because I'm going to have like a side door access, as well as 2 double doors at both ends. I'm going to need 4 of these oak quarter log corners. I made a bunch extra earlier, so I'm kind of grateful that I have that option now. But I'm also going to want a whole bunch more of just the oak quarter logs too. Next, I'm going to take the old flint axe plus a brand new one just in case, and start converting a bunch of these into more of those quarter logs. In fact, I'd like to make it so that I have at least, what was it, 42 of them. Not that this is exactly that accurate right now. There we go. Oh shoot, it used my iron axe. Well, there's a lesson learned for you. It uses off the hotbar first when it replaces it. So I should have put this down here so that would happen, because it just used up 5 of the durability. It's not that big, but that's the whole point of why I've got these tools here, is so that I can use those for just the crafting requirements, and I can use the axe for when I actually need the iron axe for when I actually need to chop something, and it'll make it a lot quicker. Still, I've got all the quarter logs that I need now. I've got all the slabs that I need now, and I've got all the doors that I need. So let's go place the basic setup of this, just to double check it's still working. It's probably going to end up going through the night. I might end up doing a sleep if I end up finishing a little early. Well, I'm also going to need water in these little spots here, and to finish tilling the ground. Okay, well, first things first. There we go. Alright, the basic frame is set, and I'm just going to set my lantern down. With I'm on 120.9 at the moment, and they've done some experiments with the lighting settings, and it's changed now where before when you put down a light, the light source would get darker. Now it's the reverse. Apparently the light source seems to be getting brighter, so I think putting it down is going to help me out quite a bit. In this case, though, I still have more to go with slabs and doors. Now, because these slabs, I'm not going to want to place them flat. I'm going to have to recraft them twice so that I can have them standing up. And then I need to place them while I'm inside the building so that I can get this effect that I'm going for. And already I've made a mistake. I need to leave door openings. Oh my gosh. Also, it would seem that I didn't have enough of these. Apparently, I needed more than the 18 slabs than I had thought. Let me go get more. So you'll notice that when I place a slab on its side, it kind of gets like this almost frosted top along this face here. And that's kind of what I was going for, because if I just make a solid granite cobblestone block, it doesn't have this little ledge look to it. And I really like that. So even if I chisel it, it still doesn't have that. So I wanted to do the slabs so that I could go with that and have that look, because I'm also going to be placing a bunch of glass on top of this. All right, now the doors I'm going to place on the other side. There we go. And those open up properly. All right, so I've got the frame in place. All I'm missing at this point is glass, tilled ground, and, well, crops, of course. That's the whole point of it. But I do want like a bit of a shed access. So I think I'm going to reclaim one of these. Let's actually turn those all back into the same thing. Put a door here. Might actually need another door. So I'm going to have this go into the face here. What am I doing? I've got an iron shovel. I could do this. And kind of make like a little like garden shed where I can put some tools, seeds, watering can, whatever I need if I really want to. And then I can always kind of dig this out further. Alright, that's going to be a good start to it. I think put this down at the top as well, and maybe get rid of this one that's just kind of poking out. There we go. We could just have something simple here. And in fact, I'm going to go make another door for that, and I'll be right back. There we go, some shelves, and then under that I can have some of these, and then I also have a couple spaces here where I can put things like garden tools or things like that, maybe a scythe even. I can put down some baskets or whatever down below here for other storage. But I just wanted a little tiny storage space, and in fact I want this to be a bit recessed, so I'm going to put it in on this side. There we go, so it's kind of like out of the way. Eventually this will turn into grass. Yeah, you can already see sparse grasses growing up here. And so it'll look a little bit better. I might take out this because grass under the dirt just looks kind of weird. There we go. And I might even like put in chiseled block versions or something like that. I can't remember if I can chisel into soil or not. But then I can have this just be like a bit of a root cellar of sorts. I don't know. Nah, not really, because I just want it to be garden tool storage. Anyway. I broke my last hoe tilling just this little circle, so I made a new one earlier. And now I'm just going to finish tilling the existing ground. And this is all medium fertility soil, so that should do just fine for me. I don't really have anything that's much better at this point. If you need to clear grass real quick, you can, as long as it's not already tilled, you can just place a light real quick and it will delete it, so you don't have to spend the time to kind of harvest the grass or spend time breaking it, whatever. There we go, and then I can put this in here for now. Let's see, I'll just put it on the wall. There we go, our first tool in the tool shed. Alright, coming over here, it looks like these are still going strong, and if I sit down here, maybe I can see from an angle? I don't know. Yeah, you can see a little bit of pink going on in there. And I think I'm going to let that burn through the night. I might do a sleep and see how things are going in the morning. Yeah, it's late enough. I think that'll work. Alright, it is now early in the morning, and the temperature outside is 0 degrees. Which is kind of scary because I don't have access to a lot of flax still, and my clothing is absolutely terrible. In fact, the best thing that's giving me warmth right now is the fact that I've got a straw hat jammed underneath my wood helmet. Everything else is giving me no benefits whatsoever. Still, I am almost ready for this, and all this is going to accomplish is give me another 5 degrees to work with. But it looks like everything is pretty much done. Each one of these is going to contain 12 glass. Hopefully, this will be enough. I guess previously I had said that I was making double the amount that I would need. I was wrong. This is exactly what I would need. So let me put down a bunch more of these bricks, and we can take this glass. We're going to need to convert the glass. At least I believe it's going to be 41 pieces are going to need to be converted. Or no, is it 41 halves? Oh yeah. So this is double. That's right, because I'm going to need to cut these in half. What's the recipe to make slabs? It is to that side. Sometimes you have to have this in specific placements in order to get that. So let me cut this down. We'll get 40 of those. I know I'm going to need at least one more, so let's just do that. There we go. I think that'll do it. 42 pieces for now. I think I'm only going to need 41, but let's find out. Now, as before, I'm going to have half of these at the moment end up being sideways, and I'll start with that. And then we can go from there. And all I need to do is just stand on the inside and place. And that's going to be pretty much it then at the top. Oops. Good thing is, you don't break the glass if you misplace it. Very nice. You know what? I'm starting to think that my calculations were correct before. Yeah, those 41 pieces of glass total are going to be cut in half for the amount that I'm going to need. I still need this saw. Okay, and now for the last pieces that I'm going to deal with. Oh shoot, I wasn't expecting that to happen. I thought that these would always place at the top, but I guess not. Either way, it's fine. I just need to place the entire ceiling now, which is going to be entirely glass in this case. It's just all going to be slabs. This is just a way of doubling the amount of glass that you can get by using slabs as well. So I am finding this very useful. Oh shoot. Okay, well, that's a problem. I'm going to need to smelt more glass. Oh gosh. So yeah, I did all the numbers, but apparently the numbers were not right. So I am going to need, what is it, 6 wide on this? I only have 2. Great. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to have to go and mine a little bit more. I thought that I had more than enough, but boy was I wrong. So not everything is going to survive from what I've got here, which honestly isn't much. This is a very patchwork looking garden, but nonetheless, some of it still might be plantable, perhaps in the greenhouse. At this point, with the nights getting around, like, I think I saw it dip below -1, is not much that I'm going to be able to plant. But there are some crops that have some hardiness, and I think that, like, parsnips and, is it spelt, perhaps? I can't remember which one, has, maybe it's rye, has some tolerance for colder temps. So if they can go to -12, and the greenhouse can give a +5, then that means that I can go all the way down to -17 before I need to worry about those crops not growing anymore. Then if it goes even lower than that, those crops can then potentially get, well, frostbitten and maybe even not produce any food at that point. We'll see. But for now, I'm just going to harvest everything that I have and see what I've got. I might see if some of these can still make it. I mean, it's above temps right now, so this flax is still growing, even if it is still getting cold at nighttime. So I just have a few crops left over. A little bit of flax here, a little bit of rye there. A couple of them probably aren't going to make it through the winter, especially this one. I might even try to get that one back, who knows. But taking a look at what I've got, it looks like I definitely have a lot of turnips, which is good in, you know, many ways, just having a lot of veg. Plus parsnips and carrots, which usually are just better, I think, at colder temps. Yeah, parsnip can get down to -10. Same thing with carrots. Turnips are only good till -5, but they ripen so quickly you can get lots of them before, you know, it gets too bad. Onions, I think they're done for the season, regardless. I did get some flax grain, which is probably the worst type of grain, but I did get some. And a bunch of rye grain, which, looking at rye, yeah, 12 below. So that one's going to be like my staple winter crop that I might be able to make through winter. I don't know what the temps are going to get down to in this area, considering that it's only October and we started dipping to the minuses. I don't rightly know if we're going to make it for any more harvests this year. We'll see. We'll see. I am going to close these doors for the meantime till I can get those last bits of glass all set and squared away. I'm just going to go put my crops up. So this is currently what I have in storage ready for the winter, which I think is pretty darn good, honestly. This should last me. I mean, I've got some stuff here that I could probably also start processing some of these into something else, like maybe pies, so that they can last a bit as meals. But I also have these up on the shelf, which is also set and ready. Plus I've got a whole bunch of wine that has now matured, plus a little bit of red currant juice that I think I'm going to end up finishing first. And then if things get really desperate, I've always got some honey and some fat that I could use. Oh, looks like this barrel of rot is still doing just fine. And this mash, eventually that's going to rot, and I'll just toss that in there too. But these berries are, you know, I'm probably just going to end up eating them or adding them into some pot meals that I'm going to eat over the next few days, because they're good for 6 days, 14, 15 days. Yeah, probably going to be in my next meal just so I can get my fruit levels up as high as I can before winter hits. And then I'll keep myself warm with a bunch of the wine brandy that we've got here. Okay, maybe not brandy, just wine. So that flax harvest, not the best. I got 25 fibers out of that, which, yeah, it's not really going to be too good. If you want to look at how you can use those, in this case, there's plenty of uses, but for me, I need linen so that I can make this, a sail, which if I look at the sail, it's made with 2 linen, or well, 4 linen, per 4 sails, and you can maximize your sails at 5 quantities of 4, because there's 4 sails around. Basically there's some here, I'll do like this is the center of your windmill, and then you've got your let's grab something that there's 4 of. You've got your 4 sails around it, so when you make a set of 4, you click on the center with it and it adds in these 4 sails to it. You can do that 5 times, thus extending the sails out 5 spaces total. So it can be quite expensive to make a windmill, but it can be a huge time saver and durability saver on your tools and your own psyche. But let's take this into account, considering that I can, you know, 2 by 2 I can make flax twine. I just took 24 of those and I've made 6 of these. Then I need to do a 2 by 2 of that to make linen. And in total, from my crop that I just harvested, which is really pathetic, I have 1 linen, 2 flax twine, and 1 flax fiber. And this is one of the most popular like grains out there that you can find in the wild, and I guess I'm just in a really bad area. I need to like totally tear out there and see what I can find. But these 59, I've gotten almost all of those just from fighting drifters and shivers and bowtorns. Oh my. As well as the flax twine. I might have gotten a little bit of this from some loot that I found in some ruins, but that's really going to keep me going for quite a while right now. So I guess with what I have, I could feasibly, I think I could make one set of 4, but it really wouldn't be worth it until I could make at least what I'm going to say a 3-layer with a max layer of 5 windmill for me to actually benefit from it. It being almost nighttime, I think I may end up doing a bit of a snooze, but not for a bit yet. Maybe I'll start making some iron ingots so that I can just quickly use those in the future while I'm waiting for nightfall. And also, I'm going to need a basket. Actually, I don't need a basket. I've got aged wooden chests, which are going to be excellent out in my little like shed out here, and I can put this there and there, and then I can put the seeds. If I get, actually I've got a regular chest as well, and I can put the different types, like let's put all pea crops in here, and then I've got my K crops and my N crops. Let's put K in here. And then I've got some ends, which I'm going to grab my regular chest that I had in there, put that in the middle, and then I've got plenty of space for all the crops to be sorted properly so that I know, without having to look at them, where they go. Alright, so I've got my N crops here, got my P crops here, and I've got my K crops here. So, there we are. And I just realized that parsnips and carrots are different. Oh, so that makes that interesting, because these are so similar in, you know, their nutrients, their temperature and heat resistance and everything, but I didn't realize they used a different ingredient, or nutrient. So that means that I could actually like rotate those two, possibly through winter, depending on how cold things get, because they go down to -10. Oh, and then on top of that, I have this like rye seeds, so I could do like rye, parsnip, and carrot for winter crops. Oh. Alright, it's 2 in the morning, and it looks like the bloomeries have finished. I was actually, oh, that looks hot. That glass looks spicy. I can't put that in my offhand, but I was busy fighting some guys here, as you can see. Can I please just get out of here? No, go away. I'll have to deal with these guys. But I was getting a lot of intruders coming in, so I figured I would just loot them real quick before I came out and did this. And then it ended up being 2 a.m. before I realized it, and I was like, okay, well, I might as well just go and get it now, see if it's completed. And it looks like it is, and in fact I think I could probably make it into this area, yes, without being bothered by them. I do need to get some water in here, and oh, I'm gonna need the saw, which I left back in the base. Alright, let's just put that down for now, and then I can use this to make a bunch more. Ow, I can't pick it up. Oh, I forgot about that. Let me go get some tongs. Oh, boy. Things just got more complex all of a sudden. Okay, I think I've got it now. I have enough of those. There's a bunch of guys still outside. I'm hoping I can still harvest them, but for the moment, I just want to see if this works. So I'm going to place these down. There we go. And I have one left, which I'm actually going to reform back into its original shape, and this should work. So there is a command you can type in, but you do have to have server-side access in order to do that. And that is debug rooms high. So that's strange. Apparently it's only showing one. Usually the entire room would be green. Instead it's only showing that one single place. Maybe I'm missing something here. But either way, if you want to get rid of that, you then type debug rooms unhigh, and it'll go away. If your area is red, then that's probably going to be a problem. For now, I don't think there's any issues. You do have to have solid ground underneath your farmland because farmland does not count as an insulating block. But the stuff below it does. So if you have water underneath or open spaces or something, that can mess up your greenhouse as well. But I need to get some water in here, and maybe that'll help things out a little bit. Alright, now that I've fought just about everything in the world what seemed to have been coming at me, did I not harvest that one? I guess not. As you can see, there's still corpses laying around that I need to take care of. There we go. I went and got a little bit more glass just so that I could make use of every space that's in here. And actually, I'm going to craft these to be flat first. Then I'm going to put these in here. And this will still keep the ground hydrated, but you now have a placeable surface for things like oil lamps to keep a light in here if you want. Or you could even put some ground storables like, you know, lanterns, for example. Whatever. So let's pick out some winter crops to work with here. I'm going to be using the rye seeds I have, which aren't much. I am going to be using carrot seeds, which again aren't much, and parsnip seeds. Oh, there's not much of anything in here. You know, I'm still going to try flax. If it doesn't work, I'll just replant it in the spring. Definitely not going to do onions. And I've got so many turnips, I'm not really bothered with it right now. So I'm just going to use these ones, see what I can get out of this. Alright, so I've got my winter crops here on the left. Then I'm going to put my just bonus crops, I guess, of the flax that I'm just going to experiment with. These get to -5, so that means that they can go as low as -10 now. If they're in there, you can see it even says at the top, +5C from greenhouse. Difficult to read, but it's right here. And that definitely tells you that your greenhouse is working in that case. So this is now done, short of putting maybe like a little oil lantern in there so that I can have a light source, which would just be nice. But I think that'll work out quite nicely. I'm pretty happy with it. In fact, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's not like super fancy or anything. It's very rustic, but that's kind of what I'm going for, honestly. And with that, I think we'll pause and end it here for this episode. Tune in next time for the continuation of Vintage Story Unearthed for 120.